Hi everyone, so welcome to Angular series. In this video we are going to cover two-way binding with isolate scope binding. This is the third one which we already covered ampersand and at the rate. This is equals. This is a bit different from both of that. So in index.html you will see I created a controller, I created a directive, demo directive, and then is the parameter here. Then is the attribute which is having some value. But right now it's not a string value, it is something we can say property, which may get the value from this input text field, hello, because it's ng model value. So it can get that value from there, or it can get the value from this directive, which is also input text field, which is having the ng model done. So done is having this isolate scope binding equals. So done can be, and this is my controller, where I'm assigning some default value to done and printing that to input text field. So when I execute it, it's happening like it is passing the data in the two-way. Whatever you change in the directive is reflecting in the controller also, this input text field also. Whatever you are changing in this first input text field, which is for the controller, is also getting reflected for the directive. So this is beneficial also. Whenever you need to inject something which can be passed through controllers and directives, then you can use it. Here the thing is done is also having a binding. So whatever the value this text field will pass, this text field will also be passed through this attribute. This is not a string attribute like we have done in the string binding or in the ampersand. This is not a string value. This is actually a property. This is actually having the ng model value. So whatever you are passing it here, that is getting reflected to the text field also of the directive. So whenever you execute it, like you will pass anything, that is getting reflected. So you change it in the controller text field, in this text field, so that value is getting reflected in the directive also. I change the value of done here, and that done is already having a binding, so that is getting reflected in this text field. Now you change something in the second text field, that is getting reflected in the controller, because whatever you are changing, it has isolate scope binding, that is getting reflected in the scope of this controller also. This is rarely used, more only only the first two scope bindings are being used, but sometimes we need to use it whenever that is required. It has some different concepts. It's not being represented by the string, it is represented by the property which we can pass along either in a controller or a directive. Thank you everyone.